Righty, we are at 2 o'clock, so I think we'll kick off proceedings for today's meeting of the Licensing Subcommittee. So thank you to everyone for attending today and to any members attending virtually. So before we begin this meeting, I'd like to make you aware of the fire instructions. We are not expecting any fire drills this afternoon, so if you do hear an alarm, please assume it to be genuine. And please exit via the front doors there and follow the fire exit signs down the stairs, out the front doors to the right, and follow the signs to Knoll Road Car Park, which is the designated fire assembly point. Don't return into the building unless you've been instructed it's safe to do so. And if you can't use the stairs in the event of emergency, if you require a lift, please make that aware to me now, and I will arrange for accommodations in the event of a fire. Hopefully it doesn't happen. On that note, we'll begin with item 1 on the agenda, which is the election of a chair. Members, please can I have a nomination for the position of chair for the meeting today? Councillor Bob Rakes.
Can I nominate Councillor Valerie White?
And do I have a seconder?
I'd like to second that nomination.
Thank you very much, Councillor Gordon. I can therefore confirm that Councillor Valerie White is duly elected as chair for this meeting. Over to you, Councillor White.
Thank you very much. Before I begin, I will ask my colleagues to introduce themselves from the right.
Councillor Mark Gordon, Ward Councillor for Bagshot.
Councillor Bob Rakes, Ward Councillor for Heatherside.
Thank you. Could I ask other officers present to introduce themselves, please? I think we'll start. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Paula Barnshaw, Senior Licensing Officer for Surrey Heath Borough Council.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Rob Carney, Licensing Enforcement Officer for Surrey Police.
Edward Elton, Council instructed by Surrey Police for this hearing.
Katrina Macbeth, Senior Trading Standards Officer, Buckinghamshire and Surrey Trading Standards.
James Hall, Democratic Services Officer for Surrey Heath Borough Council. I'll be the clerk today.
Emily Sajid, Legal Advisor to the Licensing Subcommittee today.
Would you like to introduce yourselves, please?
Mr. Panchal from PLC UK Limited, representing the client, Mr. Harman Singh, who's here with me, and Mr. Harman Singh's wife is here with me, who runs the shop as a family member. I've got my colleague here with me also. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Item 2 on the agenda. Members are invited to declare that they do not have any disclosable pecuniary interest or non-pecuniary interest. Members who have a disclosable pecuniary interest in the application will not be able to take part in its consideration and would be advised not to participate if they have a non-pecuniary interest. Members who consider they may have an interest must consult the monitoring officer or the democratic services officer prior to the meeting, which I think has been done, as the meeting cannot proceed without all members being present. So does anybody have a... Councillor Gordon.
It's a non-pecuniary interest, but I'm a licensee and I've been a DPS for about 30 years now.
Okay, the purpose of this... Sorry. Doesn't make sense. Still on 2.
So we're now on item 3, procedure of the subcommittee hearing.
Okay. So item 3 is procedure of the subcommittee hearing. The purpose of this item is to determine an application to review the premises licence of Premier Frimley Local 2 to 4 Wharf Road, Frimley Green, Camberley, GU 166LE. Before we start, I would like to check that all those present have received copies of all the papers. Can you all confirm that, please?
We have the agenda pack, and there was also a late, what's called a supplementary pack. And I think, Chair, that you know that we have objected to that.
Okay. And have you received?
Ma'am, the supplementary pack was sent in time. It's 24 hours.
Sorry, can you speak up? I do apologise. take it nearer to you.
Sorry, ma'am, we did send the supplementary pack 24 hours before the hearing. That's the normal procedure of the Licensing Act 2003 for the hearings. If you wish to give the opposition a matter of time to look at those supplementary applications, it is your discretion to either adjourn this today and come back again, or maybe carry on with the supplementary information as granted.
Okay, I'll pass over to our legal.
So the supplementary pact was actually received within 48 hours, which is the policy at Surrey Heath Borough Council. So it is admissible, and it's not information that can be objected to.
We have received it.
Okay, moving on. Before we start the hearing process, I would like to draw your attention to item 3 on the agenda, where you will find set out the procedure that will be followed during the hearing. Do you all understand the order of business which we will follow?
We do.
Okay, item 4, determination of an application to review the premises licence of Premier Frimley Local 2-4 Wharf Road, Frimley Green, Camberley, GU 166LE. If we are all ready, I will call upon Paula Branshaw, Council's licensing officer, to present a summary of her report. Paula.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Licensing Subcommittee has been asked here this afternoon under Section 52 of the Licensing Act 2003 to decide the application to review the premises licence of 2 Wharf Road, Frimley Green. The application made by the police on the 12th of June 2025 contends that Mr Kapoor, the premises licence holder and designated premises supervisor, is failing to promote all 4 licensing objectives and requests that the committee consider revoking the permission to sell alcohol. In my report, I've outlined the dates and events when the licensing objectives, the prevention of crime and disorder, the protection of children, failed to be upheld. 2 representations have been received from responsible authorities, Trading Standards and the Child Protection Committee, supporting the request for revocation. The committee is required to determine this matter on the evidence presented to it and provide the reasons for the decision. The options available to the committee are modify the conditions of the premises licence, exclude a licensable activity from the scope of the licence, remove the designated premises supervisor, suspend the licence for a period not to exceed 3 months, or revoke the licence. The police are represented today by Mr Rab Carney, the police licensing officer, and Mr Edward Elton, counsel for the police. Buckinghamshire and Surrey Trading Standards are represented by Senior Trading Standards Officer Katrina Macbeth, and the premises licence holder, Mr Harman Kapoor, is represented by Mr Surendra Panchal. I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Right, the panel will now hear the representations from responsible authorities and any other parties. Please note that your written representations have been circulated to all parties to the hearing and have been read carefully by the panel. Would those addressing the committee clearly state their full name, who they represent when making their representations? There are no timing restrictions in force for this committee, nor does it restrict the number of speakers for whom it expects to hear. However, please consider carefully whether you can add anything further to what may already have been said. Interested parties are reminded that the committee will not attach weight to the volume of oral submissions. The committee is only able to consider the review in relation to the 4 licensing objectives, which are the prevention of crime and disorder, public safety, the prevention of public nuisance, and the protection of children from harm. I now call upon the clerk to confirm who the speakers are today.
Thank you, Chair. Today we'll be hearing from Rab Carney and Edward Elton representing Surrey Police, Katrina Macbeth representing Buckinghamshire and Surrey Trading Standards, and Harman Singh Kapoor and Surendra Panchal representing the premises licence holder.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the committee at this stage? Okay. I call upon the Surrey Police representatives to present the police case for submitting the application to review the shop premises licence certificate.
Edward Elton, counsel instructed by the police. You have read all of the documents, and I'm not going to take you through them, therefore, page by page. But you know that you carry out every review of this sort with the aim of promoting the 4 licensing objectives. That overrides everything else. And in fact, the personal financial effect of any decision you make is an irrelevance. And it would be wrong for you to rely on that. You make the decision with the aim of promoting those 4 licensing objectives. I know that you know that, but it always bears saying at the outset. And your own statement of licensing policy says at paragraph 7.3, the licensing process is focused on controlling the immediate harms associated with alcohol sales at particular premises, with all licensing decisions relating specifically to the premises in question and their promotion of the 4 statutory licensing objectives. And as I think you have already outlined, Chair, we particularly rely, in fact, in this case, on the prevention of crime, public safety and the protection of children from harm, but we do also pray and aid the prevention of public nuisance. You, as a licensing body, as a licensing committee, take underage sales particularly seriously. We know this from not only the revised Section 182 guidance, which says at paragraph 2.29, the government believes that it is completely unacceptable to sell alcohol to children, but also your own licensing policy, which says at paragraph 21.15, in keeping with the guidance, the licensing subcommittee will treat underage sales as serious criminal activity and will give consideration to the suspension or revocation of a licence if a review is brought in respect of underage sales. And of course, you know that the sale of alcohol to a minor is in and of itself a criminal offence under Section 146 of the Licensing Act, and allowing it as DPS is an offence under Section 147 of the Licensing Act itself. In respect of Premier Frimley Local, which is known as the Wharf Road Stores, and when you looked at the photograph, you'll have seen that's the name on it. So unless you correct me now, I will call it the Wharf Road Stores throughout for ease of reference. And that store and its designated premises supervisor, Mr. Harman Singh Kapoor, there was an incident on the 13th of April, a serious incident. A man attended the store because his 17-year-old son, a child-in-law, had bought 500, I think we said 580, that's a misprint, it's £530. We know that now because we've got the receipt from the store, and I'll come back to that. But he had bought £530 of nitrous oxide from the Wharf Road stores, and he'd done that in one day. That is, in 3 different ways, something that in and of itself should result in revocation. Firstly, nitrous oxide is a Class C drug and has been since November 2023. And if there have been £530 of the sales to a single person, that's a number of criminal offences. To a child, has even more impact to you as a licensing subcommittee. So secondly, it's obviously not right to sell this controlled drug to children. And thirdly, it brings into question elements of addiction where a child is spending that much money in one day on a controlled drug and it was left unchecked by the store. And we know that it is now accepted by the designated premises supervisor, Mr. Kapoor, that it was not a rogue employee doing something he had no knowledge about, because if you look at the only pink page in the supplementary evidence, this is accepted by everybody to be the refund given by the designated premises supervisor to the father of that 17-year-old child. And it's a refund not from an individual. If you look at the very top of that receipt, it's from Premier Wharf Road Stores, Frimley Green. It's from this premises. It is impossible, therefore, that those sales of the controlled drug, each one constituting a crime, were made by the shop, because it's the shop that refunded the father when he came in the next day. And we note that the designated premises supervisor, Mr. Kapoor, was certainly there to give the refund, and he's accepted that himself, even though, when asked and asked and asked again by the police, he refused to give the name of the person who had given the sales, and he refused to give the name of the person involved in the refund. So there are elements of dishonesty as well. He has now admitted that it was him who gave the refund, and as I've already pointed out, it was not a person who refunded the money, the shop refunded the money. As night follows day, it must have been the shop that made the sales. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a refund, would it? It'd be some sort of ex gratia payment for which there wouldn't be a receipt on the shop things, because otherwise that'd be fraudulent, wouldn't it? And nobody's suggesting that. Everyone accepts this as a genuine refund. It's just a refund of something that it was a crime each time it was sold by the shop. That sort of failure, as a one-off, an aberration from an otherwise lawful shop, abiding by the rules, the laws, and its own licence conditions, you might have found a way to deal with this except by revocation. But we know that it was not. It was just the latest of the failings. Police and Trading Standards returned on the 17th of April 2025 to the Wharf Road stores. When they arrived, the DPS, Mr. Kapoor, wasn't present, but he arrived later. There was a search of the premises, and as you know, Catriona Macbeth, who sits to my right, and she'll undoubtedly tell you about this, found 2 canisters behind the counter. She was worried about what those might be, so she sent them off for testing, having seized them. And they contained THC. We'll all be aware nowadays of CBD, cannabidiol, which is used in some alternate therapies and creams and whatever. Cannabidiol contains no psychoactive agent, and it is lawful to sell products that don't have that. It's just a leaf. The bit that's psychoactive has been removed. The bit that's psychoactive is tetrahydrocannabinol, and those 2 canisters found by the Trading Standards officer behind the till contained THC, tetrahydrocannabinol. That is a Class B drug. If there was one and it was in the pocket of someone, you might think, well, he shouldn't do that, but it's the employee's own things. They were there, ready to be sold. Again, it's illogical, border on the ridiculous to suggest otherwise. We know this is a shop that sells Class C drugs unlawfully. Why is it so hard a step to say that they were selling Class B drugs, tetrahydrocannabinol, as well? It's logical, and if it's logical, it's right. The police agreed, and the designated premises supervisor was arrested for possession of a Class B drug with intent to supply by PC Hamilton ED. He was later interviewed, and as his right in the criminal sphere, he answered no comment to all the questions about those 2 canisters of THC. But in the licensing context, you will wonder why he couldn't put forward a genuine explanation. Or they're nothing to do with me and nothing to do with the shop. That's an explanation he could have given and chose not to. They're mine and I sell them because whilst I also sell Class C drugs, I like to sell Class B when I can get away with it, would be an explanation that he also didn't give. But he didn't give any explanation. And that's his right in the criminal sphere. But in the licensing sphere where we're operating, that has a consequence. He had a chance to put the record straight. He didn't take it. And it shows, and I'll come back to this in a moment, it shows an unwillingness on the part of the designated premises supervisor to engage with the authorities when you might think somebody who is trying to promote the licensing objectives would have been only too eager to engage with the authorities. And to that end, when the designated premises supervisor did arrive on the 17th of April, as you can imagine, the police and Trading Standards asked for the name of the employee who had sold £530 worth of Class C drug to this child on the 13th of April. And he said he couldn't remember who it was that had been working in his shop that he is the DPS for 4 days earlier. And he said that the pay records, when it was suggested, well, look, you will have paid someone to be here, why not have a quick look at those and you'll know who was working, because oh no, that's the employee, I pay him in cash, he only helps out sometimes. So the police, because they're persistent, continued until, well, the accountant will know, let's phone your accountant. She was spoken to, and she said, nobody who works in that shop is paid in cash. So you might think, again, that's dishonesty on the part of the DPS, and dishonest designated premises supervisors cannot be trusted to do their jobs. Even in the light of that, Mr. Kapoor refused to give a name of that employee, even after it was made clear that his repeated excuses weren't going to wash. There's one other way, of course, that you could have found out who it was, perhaps. Jog his memory. Show him back the CCTV of his own shop, which will undoubtedly capture the employee. So who was asked? Can we have a look at the CCTV? Oh, I've forgotten the password. His wife was summoned. She too said, oh, I can't remember the password. Now, know that you will have looked carefully at the licence conditions, but you will have looked particularly at licence condition number 6 on Agenda Pack, page 18. It is a requirement of his licence that he shows the CCTV in short order when asked to do so by the authorities. And of course, he didn't do that. You might think he was refusing. You might think it smacks of untruth that he didn't know the password of his own CCTV. Apart from anything else, even if you find that it was ineptitude rather than dishonesty, he admits through this failure, repeated failure, that he wasn't abiding by his licence conditions. And if he's not abiding by that one, how on earth could you possibly have confidence that he's abiding by any others? Of course you can't, not least because you know he's been selling Class C drugs and was arrested for possession of Class B drugs with intent to supply on that very day. The fact of the inability for that CCTV to be viewed meant that the licence wasn't being abided by. So the hard drive, the CCTV unit, was taken away, at which point, of course, he wasn't allowed to sell any alcohol because he was no longer abiding by his conditions and it had now been spotted. And nobody, of course, is suggesting that this was the day that he forgot password that he remembered the day before. That too would be ridiculous. So we don't know for how long he hadn't been abiding by licence condition number 6, and we don't know for how long he would have continued not to abide by that condition if it had not been spotted by the police and by trading standards. Trading standards found a number of other breaches on that very day. As you may know, it's an offence to possess for sale any vape that doesn't have the required safety labelling, and 21 different sorts, pen and disposable, were seized because they failed. That too, criminal offence, labelling requirements. So 21 different criminal offences there just on the vapes. There were soft drinks with unlawful additives. There was food without the mandatory food safety information. There was alcohol for sale, both spirit and mixer and beers, where the best before dates and batch numbers by which you can check when this was manufactured or bottled or whatever had been rubbed off, however that had happened. Now, one of those you might think, well, that could just be bad luck for a shop holder. These things do happen. But each of them, it just begins to show pattern. When you add on top of that the acknowledged sale of Class C drugs repeatedly, when you add possession with intent to supply of a Class B drug, it's pattern. And if it's pattern, it's by design. And as I say, I'm not going to tread on the toes of Katrina Macbeth, who is going to follow me as the second of the review bringers. But it was one of a number of unsatisfactory visits. And you have the photographs of box after box of counterfeit cigarettes towards the back of your agenda pack. And each of those fails. It's a criminal offence because it's counterfeit. It's an offence under the Trademarks Act. It's also, those packets of cigarettes you can see aren't in the sludge green Pantone 844C that all tobacco products have to be in this country, and they don't have the right warnings on them. So triply each packet of cigarettes is unlawful to possess for sale. And you know that the explanation given is, oh, well, it was a fellow called John. Nice and non-specific name. Couldn't tell you any more detail. But he came in, he was closing his shop down, so I bought some stock from him. look at your licence conditions for this particular licence. Once again, back on page 18, and it is a condition of the licence. It's condition number 8, that he only buys stock from cash and carries, not from people called John, who might wander into his shop with ill-gotten goods under their arm. So again, it's another failure on a different date to abide by his licence conditions. Add to that the failed knife purchases to children in November 2024 and November 2023. Of course, both of those relate to protection of children from harm, prevention of crime, and public safety, which, as I said at the start, were the 3, and that must be true when you're selling unlawful drugs to children. And add on to that the failed previous test purchases in October 2022 and June 2023. Again, protection of children from harm, prevention of crime. You have, as I say, pattern. You have the designated premises supervisor and the Wharf Road stores doing the very opposite of promoting the 4 licensing objectives. They are actively undermining them. And it doesn't matter how many times they pass a test purchase. Every licence holder should pass a test purchase every time. Occasionally, inexperienced employees or new employees or somebody just having a moment might fail. But that should be a one-off. It shouldn't be pattern repeated over time. But that's what you have here. Pattern repeated over time, and the refund of the unlawful drug sales coming not from an individual, coming from the shop itself. You might think it an inevitability when the police felt they had no option but to issue an antisocial behaviour closure warning letter to the shop. You will undoubtedly know about summary reviews of licences. That's the sort of territory that the issuing of an ASB closure warning letter puts this shop into. We haven't gone down the summary route. We've given the DPS time to answer things in slow time and to operate. You do have the times when it went as it's supposed to every time, but you have those repeated instances where the wheels have completely come off, and not as the shop and not as the DPS just not really promoting the licensing objectives. He and the shop are actively undermining them, and then you have his dishonesty when he's called on it, which again actively undermines the promotion of those licensing objectives. It is clear that the shop and the designated premises supervisor are going for profit and an easy life, not abiding by the law and promoting the 4 licensing objectives. You make all of your decisions in the light of your own policy and in light of the Section 182 guidance and, of course, the Licensing Act. And it is clear that each of those 3 documents leads you to one conclusion, that this DPS is not fit. He is not promoting the licensing objectives, and the Wharf Road store's licence must be revoked. Thank you.
Thank you. Rab, have you got anything to add to that? No. Okay. Does the licence holder have?
One of the failed test purchases for alcohol during the period was actually made by the DPS, Mr. Kapoor. He actually sold a child some alcohol from his shop, which was during one of our test purchases, which is documented in the papers.
Hold on. Right, does the licence holder have any questions they want to put to Surrey Police representatives at this stage?
Thank you, ma'am. A quick question to the police. Did you get any explanation by Mr. Kapoor regarding the failure of the test purchases during your presentation that you made? You haven't made any presentation saying what did the police get the explanations when the test failures in November, in June, April were made at the premises? Who made it? And as you say just now, There's only one made by Mr. Kapoor.
Madam Chairman, once Mr. Kapoor had failed a test purchase, the shop had failed a test purchase, it is our policy that we always revisit the premises with the senior licence officers of the council to find out what happened. We then work with Mr. Kapoor to try and prevent it from happening again. And I actually provided this shop with a staff training package to help him assist with the training of his staff to ensure that they do not fail any more test purchases. And that was provided with him. And we did follow-up visits to the store with the licence officer from the council to make sure that everything was in order. I always saw Mr. Kapoor, and I was always to help him to try and prevent any more of these failures. But the failures were made from persons that he employed at his shop. And that is the reason when we found out that his training methods were not up to standards, that we decided to help him by giving him a staff training package which had refusal logs in it. It had a lot of literature regarding how to prevent the sale of alcohol and restricted products to young people. And we thought that by issuing him this pamphlet, this training package, would help him and help his staff not to commit any further offences of selling alcohol or any restricted products to his staff. And once Mr. Kapoor had a failure at his shop, we would go down, we would work with them, and the next test purchase we did, he passed. And that, for me, means things are working. And I would always send Mr. Kapoor a letter congratulating him on his shop passing the test purchase. And I would thank him for working with the police to try to prevent that. And then you would find possibly the next test purchase he would fail again. And it was a inconsistent way that he was running his shop. He'd pass a test purchase and the next one he would fail. But we were always there, the police and the council, to assist him to try and prevent him from failing anymore.
Sorry, I didn't get you. You said he failed the test purchases, but then again, he's passed 4 test purchases. Six. There were 6 test purchases you carried out at the premises. All 6 of them that passed the test. Is it true or not?
No, there were more than 6 test purchases. He passed 6 times. He failed on all the times that I've read out.
How many times did you fail?
Well, there's the 2 for the knife purchases, the 2 for alcohol to children.
So he failed 2. And those 2 that he failed, was it Mr. Harman Kapoor or was it the staff?
Well, Mr. Bernie's already said Mr. Kapoor failed one of them. One of his employees failed the other one of the alcohol purchases.
From your report that you presented to the council, you say to me in November, the staff, again in June, there was staff that failed. So which one was Mr. Kapoor that failed?
When we make reference to the staff in the shop, we don't differentiate between owner and manager and staff member. They are all staff in the shop. They have different roles in the shop. One of those was Mr. Kapoor, one of them was an employee.
So there's one that failed Mr. Kapoor, but the rest were the staff that failed. Am I right in saying that?
The 13th of November, there was a field knife test purchase which was done by a member of Mr Kapoor's staff. On the 18th of November, we attended the premises, and again there was a field test purchase. So bear with me. Right, on the 20th of October 2022, the field test purchase of alcohol, and the person who made that sale was Mr Kapoor, and that was on the 20th of October 2022 at 1940 hours.
And that's at page 31 in the agenda pack is where that's dealt with.
Which he received a community resolution order for.
Can I just ask a question of the licensing officer at the moment? Does it matter who did the selling? It's the premises.
It doesn't matter. So basically, a failed test purchase, it would also mean that actually the training is insufficient or inadequate. That the training of staff they're authorised by the DPS to sell alcohol.
They're
that's all
representing
failed.
that
Yes.
outlet.
Ma'am, can I put some light on that, the question that you asked the licensing officer? It depends. Normally, I'd like to put this forward to you to understand how Licensing Act works. I've been in licensing for the last 25 years. The training is provided by the owner of the shop or the DPS. It is up to the staff then to make sure this training is understood, which the staff normally does understand. Then it is up to the staff working on the day when his behavior. And thereafter, it is noted what reactions the owner of the staff has done, or the owner of the shop has done. And in this case, every time when the staff has carried out those, Mr. Harman Kapoor has already released the staff out by saying, you made that mistake, we do not want you here. So he has taken the step forward, which is the guidance says, that what step forward does the owner or the DPS take. And here in this case, he has taken the step by saying to the staff, well, I've trained you, I've told you everything, and you haven't behaved, so I'm releasing you. So he's released the staff off. And that is what the action is normally required by. But there are test purchases I'm holding here, and I've sent it to you. There are 4 to 6 test purchases that Mr. Harman Singh has passed. So there is a work, and there is sometimes not work, but immediately steps of what steps do Mr. Harman Kapoor or the staff or the owner of the shop takes. That's more important to look at. And I'm going to come back in my presentation how he has reacted in running his shop. But that'll be my presentation, that'll be later.
Actually, we're still just on asking questions of the police representative at the moment. We haven't got on to your presentation.
Thank you, ma'am.
So if you'd like to hold on that.
We don't accept the complexion that the premises licence holder is trying to put on the Licensing Act. Just so that you're aware, I'd hate for you to think we agreed with what was just said. It's not our reading of the law.
Okay, I'm going to move on now, and I call upon the Buckinghamshire and Surrey Trading Standards representative to present their case.
Sorry, Madam Chair. The full circumstances of Trading Standards' involvement in this matter is detailed in great detail in my statement. Our first involvement was in June 2022. It was the first inspection. Just to make it clear, the purpose of that visit was due to complaints of underage sales. Whilst it was accepted at the time that it probably did relate to the previous owner, Mr. Kapoor was provided with guidance then about preventing underage sales. So he was given the information it was up to him as the DPS to then put any controls in place. During the course of the June 2022 inspection, there were various issues which have non-compliances which have followed through on every subsequent inspection that has been done at the premises. Things like snap blades being on the general shop floor. Snap blades are age-restricted products. Giant sparklers were on the shop floor. They're age-restricted products. Lighter fuel being on the sales counter, where they're likely to be stolen. That's why the advice that we always provide, age-restricted products that can be stolen, better to be behind the counter. But at that time, there was counterfeit chocolate that was seized. There was what's called Max's vodka with no lot markings. 112 illicit vapes were seized. So the term illicit, when we talk about vapes and we talk about tobacco, covers a number of different issues. But for vapes, it can be that they are oversized, so more than the maximum permitted limit in the tank, above the nicotine level. Those products I've just mentioned will also have not gone through the safety approval system with MHRA, the Medicines Health Regulatory Authority. So there's no safety checks done on them. There will also be various other information missing, mandatory information. So that's when we're talking about illicit vapes. But they were seized, and the explanation given by Mr. Kapoor, the DPS, was that that had all been left over by the previous owner. And that also included all the food that was on sale where there were issues. And whilst not relevant so much for licensing, it's brought in because it will give you the impression of the management of the business and our confidence in the management of the business and Mr. Kapoor as the DPS. Then moving forward, September, we started to get intelligence about the business. So by this time, this is intelligence about the business run by Mr. Kapoor as the DPS. September 2022, we got intelligence that the business was selling nitrous oxide. At that time, nitrous oxide was not a Class C, but it was an offence to sell nitrous oxide where you knew that it was in effect being used for psychoactive purposes. December 22, we received intelligence that the premises were selling illicit tobacco. January 23, intelligence that they were selling to children, age-restricted products. June 23, intelligence that they were selling to children and were also selling illicit tobacco to children. Then June 23, there was a joint inspection with ourselves, police, and the food safety team from environmental health. On this occasion, there was butane gas, canisters of it out on the table, on the pavement, where anybody could just help themselves. Butane gas is still an age-restricted product. There were various food issues, very similar to the food issues that had been discovered in June 2022. But the most surprising thing, bearing in mind Mr. Kapoor's premises licence conditions about not accepting certain goods unless from a cash and carry and then to be on invoice, was that there were a number of crates in the stock room. Just to be clear that the stock room is part of the licensed premises. Some of these crates were marked not for sale, but beside the crates were black carrier bags tucked down beside it and some nitrous oxide canisters. But inside the crates were a significant quantity of cigarettes and hand-rolling tobacco and further canisters of nitrous oxide, both the small little silver ones and the great big canisters. The explanation given to by Mr. Kapoor for these was that they weren't for sale. His friend John had left them for him to go through, pick out what he wanted, but he didn't want those. But it is strange to then have the black carrier bags directly beside these crates, ready for use. There were also crates of illicit vapes in the stock room, same design as those for that contained the tobacco and the nitrous oxide, but these were full of illicit vapes. Again, Mr. Kapoor said they were not for sale, but obviously they're in the stock room, but they weren't marked not for sale. Again, these are all on licensed premises. In total, 3,880 sticks of cigarettes were seized. 1.85 kilograms of hand-rolling tobacco were seized. The vast majority of the cigarettes and the hand-rolling tobacco have been confirmed as being counterfeit. Also seized was approximately 1.6 kilograms of shisha. And then, obviously, the significant quantity of illicit vapes. When asked for the documentation for these items that were seized, Mr. Kapoor provided the documents that are exhibited to my statement. He's also provided those same documents in his supplementary evidence. They're not invoices, but they also quite clearly show that he did accept goods, including alcohol, from this unknown male, John, which is a breach of his licence conditions. Moving forward, so on that occasion, in June 2023, I noticed some boxes in the stock room, which from my experience, they got the markings for containing fireworks. On an inspection in November by my colleague and Surrey Fire and Rescue Service, it was confirmed that these boxes contained fireworks. And whilst the weight didn't require the business to be licensed, they still needed to be stored safely. But on this occasion, Mr. Kapoor stated that they'd been delivered by Booker's 3 weeks previously. This was on the 3rd of November. I'd seen them in June. It makes you wonder about how accurate Mr. Kapoor's memory is compared to what we are discovering when we're doing the inspections. There was another small seizure of shisha, which Mr. Kapoor said was left behind in June. At no point did Mr. Kapoor think that he should contact us to say that there was further shisha that had been left. My colleague also noted at that time that Mr. Kapoor was selling, they're called cream whippers. They are the aluminium tool used to discharge nitrous oxide canisters into balloons to then be inhaled, i.e. for the nitrous oxide to be abused. And he also had beside them balloons, which again is used to discharge the nitrous oxide canisters into. And it just makes you wonder why. Then on the 20th of November, shortly after, there was a trading standards and HMRC inspection. And on that occasion, there was exactly the same issues with that previously been discovered with food, and there were cans of beer and alcohol where the best before date and the batch codes or lot markings, which is one, the legal requirement, but it also enables you to trace it back to the production run. And they had been removed. Stock of the same brand in the stockroom was significantly out of date. Mr. Kapoor denied all knowledge and didn't know what had happened. It makes you wonder whether or not the dates had been removed so his customers would be unaware that he was selling out-of-date food. There's still butane gas canisters outside on the table, despite Mr. Kapoor having been advised that it's not a good idea. And the snap blades were still on the shop floor, and again, he had been advised to move them. And it's not just to stop children being able to steal them, it's also to prevent a weapon being on the shop floor, which can be picked up and used against Mr. Kapoor or anybody that works in that shop. But no action was taken. And on that occasion, Mr. Kapoor actually confirmed that the police had told him to move the knives from where they were because they were too accessible. And it was then discovered that he had failed the knives test purchase 2 days before, on the 18th. But he decided not to take any action. The police have mentioned that he passed an alcohol test purchase on the 12th of December 23. On the 9th of February 24, he was sent a warning letter for the illicit tobacco and illicit shisha seized in June 2023. That was signed by Bobby, and I'm unclear, having looked at the supplementary documents provided by Mr. Kapoor and his legal representative. Mr. Kapoor has a signature and there's somebody else signing Bobby. So it makes me wonder who Bobby is and why he signed a letter, a warning letter and acknowledgement addressed to Mr. Kapoor. 9th of October 24, another inspection. We had exactly the same issues with food, exactly the same issues with regards alcohol where best before dates and batch codes have been removed. And again, there were 5 bottles of vodka were seized because there was no lot markings on the products. Mr. Kapoor actually provided an invoice for those. He's not provided invoices for the majority of other stock when requested to do so. 12th of November 24, we have another failed test purchase when a knife was sold to a child. And again, the knife was being displayed on the shop floor, despite being advised not to put his stock for knives out on the shop floor where they're accessible. April 2025, then we've got the intelligence that came in that a significant quantity of nitrous oxide, at that time a Class C drug, was sold to a 17-year-old child. As a result of that intelligence, myself and the police did an inspection at the premises on the 17th of April. My colleague beside me has already mentioned that there was a relatively small seizure of some illicit vapes. There were, again, Mr. Kapoor said it was old stock or they'd been left behind. But they're behind the counters. Quite a lot of them were on display. But again, it's the theme of we give Mr. Kapoor advice, he takes no action, takes no notice of us. and my colleague was explained slightly incorrectly. The 2 bottles of e-liquids, whilst I discovered that, that was actually formally seized by the police and they submitted it for testing. So those 2 bottles have been confirmed as containing THC liquid. An empty box that was also on the shelf quite clearly stated that it contained THC. But it was an empty box, no actual product, so that wasn't seized. But why was it on the premises? It has become clear that Mr. Kapoor struggles with reading English. He's been given verbal advice. He's been given copies of inspections. At no point has he asked for it to be translated or in a different format. But after the last inspection on the 17th of April of this year, I emailed him specifically so he could use Google Translate or some other translation app so he could fully understand everything and all the issues and all the action that was required of him. He's been given instructions to remove things from sale, that he can't legally sell things, but he has ignored those instructions. All of the relevant authorities have tried to bend over backwards to provide Mr. Kapoor with the information and guidance that he needs to comply with the law. Mr. Kapoor, to start off with, Mr. Kapoor denied the sale of nitrous oxide to the 17-year-old child. The easy solution for Mr. Kapoor would have been to download the CCTV footage and show the responsible authorities. But for whatever reason, he's either decided not to do that, or there's no record of the actual password to enable him to download the CCTV or to show it. Mr. Kapoor has very detailed licence conditions, very, very specific licence conditions, which he seems to be not fully aware, maybe not even aware at all until he instructed his licensing consultant. Mr. Kapoor comments as he's made to me is that as long as he's got an invoice, he can sell anything. Unfortunately, that's not the case. And also my understanding of what an invoice is that it has the name of the business that is supplying the goods and the VAT number and the address, and it is quite clear that the invoice, the address of the invoice is the business that's being supplied, and it quite clearly lists the goods that are being supplied and that VAT has been paid on it. So I have a very clear understanding of what invoices are and what traceability is. It is concerning that Mr. Kapoor is unable to provide any detail for the individual that was working in the shop, and that he was then paying this member of staff by cash, unknown to his accountant. And it just gives a further flavour of the activities of what was going on these licensed premises. As I said, there has been significant involvement with various enforcement authorities. Mr. Kapoor has been provided with advice, both verbally and in writing, which he has failed to take action on. He has failed to proactively engage with the various authorities that have been dealing with these premises. and he has failed to take any proactive steps to ensure that the premises licence conditions are being met or complied with. And he's also failing to take any proactive steps to ensure that the licensing objectives are being upheld. So in the full circumstances, trading standards fully support the application that's been made by Surrey Police, and that the only way to ensure that the licensing objectives are met is for the licence to be revoked.
Thank you. Do any members of the subcommittee have any questions they want to put to the responsible body and interested party at this stage?
No, I just had a query actually. It's just, no,
Microphone.
sorry. Just to Katrina, the page 161 and 162, there were some objects there. And I would not in my experience know what those were.
Are they?
Sorry.
I can see three photos that places on. They are, I suppose, a filter that you can use for smoking certain substances. In other words, it's a form of roach.
Okay, thank you.
The licence holder have any questions that they want to put to Buckinghamshire and Surrey Trading Standards representative at this stage?
Thanks, ma'am. I don't have any questions to put in, but Mr. Herman Kapoor would like to put in some questions with your permission, ma'am, to the trading standards. Yep.
Has to be relevant to what she's just read out.
Yeah, it's to the trading standards.
Yeah, so just for the trading standards, when you come in on, I don't have an exact date, so when you come to the shops, so the boxes which is you already mentioned, which is you got from the one place or all on the different place?
It's for the tobacco
On the
and
crates, yeah.
vapes. So there was some crates immediately inside the fire door,
Yes,
the back door.
back door which is the near the exit, yeah?
Yeah, so would it, if I explain to
Yeah,
the committee, so you've got the, have we got photos of the, no. So you have the front door of the shop, you go in, you directly in front of you is the sales counter, then there is a door to the stock room, and then you've got the shop extends to the right of that as well. Through the door going into the stock room, you've got the left-hand side with shelving and stock in the middle, a little bit of shelving, and then it goes, and then there's the back door in that section. Then if you follow it round, there's a number of other areas, toilet, the locked, yeah. So the illicit tobacco and the nitrous oxide are just inside the rear exit, the fire door. Vape crates, left-hand side as you came through. So not sort of there and just to the left of the crates with tobacco.
when you find the boxes, which is on the each box, what is says on it?
It's in my statement.
Yeah.
So the ones by the fire door with the tobacco and the nitrous oxide had not for sale. And there's photos in my exhibits, yeah? But not on the vape boxes.
Because, you know, we know Mr. John, which is, they give me all this. So on that day, we still got the boxes, which is
I think that,
No,
yeah,
it's a question.
question. So this is, you can't find anything behind the counter in it. You find anything behind the counter?
not tobacco or vapes, but obviously there was the shisha. Yeah.
So what is shisha? Can you explain? Is a drug or something?
No, shisha is herbal tobacco for shisha pipes.
Is zero nicotine. Can you read it on it?
It doesn't contain nicotine, it is caught by the Tobacco and Related Products Regulations. So it is still regulated by the same regulations.
The flavor which it says zero nicotine.
Doesn't matter, it is still caught by the regulations.
Yeah, so.
Yeah?
And one more thing, for the police officer, which is they always come and check.
No, if you're asking, you have to ask questions of me,
Yeah.
or
that's
it's raised
okay.
in.
Yeah, yeah. And can I allow to ask the police officer?
No, we're just questioning. You
Yeah,
had
that's it.
you had a chance to ask the police.
Yeah.
Come
So
on.
for the train standard, that's it, which is,
That's it, is
that's
it?
it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so can I now call upon the licence holder to outline their case, please?
Thank you very much, Chair. I'm going to do it in two portions because we also have the license holder who's got to put in some of his presentations, but I'll put my presentation first. You have heard quite a bit from the police and trading standards. We could see that there is no cooperation from the police standards and the trading standards with Mr. Kapoor, who has fully cooperated every time that they have visited and every visits they've made. Yes, we're going to put down Mr. Kapoor's existence in 2022, sorry, beg your pardon, not 1922, 2022. Mr. Kapoor previously had worked in the licensing trade and had no breaches, when I say licensing trade, in 2016 to 2018. And thereafter worked in another business, which again had none of the breaches or anything happened to that. When they came into this business, 2022, April, they did, as a family, the wife, Mr. Kapoor, his father, and everybody, took up a big loan. They're still repaying that loan. The entire loan and everything depends on the shop that they are running at the moment. So they do understand that they do need to promote the four licensing objectives robustly. So they were doing that. We have sent you all the documents that you see. I've got the receipts here. I've not printed all the receipts, but some of the receipts I've printed it and sent it to you. That every time there was a sale of any alcohol or products, a receipt would come out, print on the say to say ask for ID. So that matters were taken in. There were also documents that I've sent you that gave the idea that they were putting the refusal logs, if any items that they were selling which were under the Licensing Act or under the Child Protection Act. Again, there was a regular refusal logs put in and made sure those logs were put in once they were asked for the ID. So the IDs were clearly asked. What you could see also when we've sent is there were a lot of times, 6 times we've heard now, you heard from the presentation of the police that 6 times Mr. Kapoor passed the test of alcohol matters. So they were passed, you've seen that. Again, that proves to you that yes, he is looking into the Licensing Act and he is trying to promote. Again, we did look at the presentations made by the police whereby a lot of times the staff had made the mistake, not Mr. Kapoor. And every time the staff made the mistake, Mr. Kapoor made sure the staff was released, a new staff was employed, and the staff were again trained, which was made sure that the staffs were trained. So you could see that. There was a receipt sent to you that when this happened, when the main thing that we are talking about, the products that were found, which you have got the picture which says where the products were found, Again, we were questioned to the trading standard. Those products were found outside the display, which normally is put up for the general public to buy. They weren't for sale, which were mentioned. Those things were not for sale. No display was made for anybody to buy those products. When those products were bought, yes, there was a Mr. John that came up to say his shop has been closed. Yes, Mr. Kapoor, at that very instance, we are not saying no. Mr. Kapoor could have stayed, no, I don't want the stock to you. But then he thought, well, here it is. I've got a chance to buy some products from some shop that is closed. So he said, well, look, I'm going to drop all this down to you. Whatever you want, you select from it, and then I'll charge you for it. The rest, I'll collect it back. And that was a product that was put up for not for sale and to be collected back. There was a receipt that they made, which I've sent it to you, which clearly states that which products which were related to be sold were to be bought. So he bought those products, and the other person, the products were supposed to go back to the person that brought the products in. Yes, you could argue, or the Licensing Act would clearly say that he should have not bought those products, but he made sure that the products that he was going to buy were legally thing. During that, there is a
Invoice for
there's a,
product.
yeah, the products invoices also has been sent to you, that he was given that invoice, that the products that he had bought from that. The products that you see from the trading standards, they were seized. Those are the 3,900 cigarettes and 18,000 were the products that were not bought, the products that were not for sale.
Already crossed.
And they were crossed up from here also on the receipt that, yes, I'm not buying those products. So again, he did not. The argument would be, I know the argument from any legal department would be, he was in possession of those products, which under the Licensing Act, he should not be in possession of those products. But again, he admitted that those products were left away from the shop and the display. That is our argument. Yes, when you're making your decision, you could come up to say, yes, he was in possession. But again, you'd see that he wasn't, that products were not up for sale. He had the Licensing Act worked up. He was making sure the trainings were carried out with the staff. Yes, the staffs, the staffs don't own the shop. Again, a lot of staffs do tend to make mistakes, and that is where Mr. Kapoor, has been caught up with. But there are training records also that we've sent to you about the staff, that the training records were carried out in the refusal book. So he is following the Licensing Act's regime. So that's what my presentation to you is, that yes, Mr. Kapoor is not running away, or Mr. Kapoor is not literally what you heard from the responsible authorities today, that he's totally ignoring the Licensing Act 2003, or he's totally not complying with anything that is given to him or the shops open. It isn't that kind of thing. He is promoting. He is looking into it. He does understand that this is his bread and butter for the family. So he's just totally ignoring that. So that is my feeling, that yes, there is a thing. Yes, he's not very good at English. English isn't his first language, but English is his second language. If I go away from the guidance 1982 and go away and look at it, we do not want Mr. Kapoor to go on the streets or go to the department of begging for benefits, rather than he is saying to himself, yes, I want to work, yes, I want to put my efforts in, and I want to go forward. There is evidence. It is not that you are looking at you're ignoring the evidence. There is a lot of evidence which shows that, yes, he is doing that. He's not going away from it. He is cooperating. We're not saying he's not cooperating. Yes, everybody gets nervous when you have the police come up to you or anybody at his house. Any trader totally gets nervous and doesn't know what he's doing at the time, and then suddenly realizes that what he's done is not correct. So that is what has happened with Mr. Kapoor. And I personally proposed to the committee today, I would ask Mr. Kapoor to put his views on what we heard from the responsible authorities. But I would personally feel, yes, there were some defects or some portions where licensing regime was not complied with, a few of them. But there is a way forward. In the guidance also it says there is a way forward. If you look at the guidance section 126, it says where the licensing authority is conducting a review on the grounds that the premises have been used for criminal purpose, it's a role solely to determine what steps should be taken in connection with the premises license for the promotion of crime and prevention projective. It is important to recognize that certain criminal activity or associated problems may be taking place or have been taking place despite the best efforts of the license holder and the staff working at the premises, and despite full compliance with the conditions attached to the license. In such circumstances, the licensing authority is still empowered to take any appropriate steps to remedy the problems. And I'm asking you to remedy the problems at this very instance, is we could replace the DPS, have the DPS to undergo, there is a level 3 designated premises supervisor's course, which we would ask the new incoming DPS to go through and provide the certificate for that. The licensing authority's duty is to take steps with a view to the promotion of the license objectives and the prevention of illegal working in the interest of the wider community and not those of the individual license holder. So there is a chance. There is a way we could go forward. There is not a way that we could just throw everything to Mr. Kapoor and say, no, we're locking you up and throwing the key away. We are not doing that. Even the present government sitting down goes down to make sure the prisoners are also trained, spends a lot of money in the budget to make sure they are trained and they go back to the community and work in. So you need to look at that also under the human rights. So here it is, Mr. Kapoor is not ignoring everything. If he was ignoring everything, you wouldn't have those 5, 6 certificates where the underage promotions were departed from. You would have then had all of them rejected, all of them not complied with. But that hasn't happened. So that's what my view is to the committee. Yes, Mr. Kapoor, apart from changing the DPS, we are happy for that mistake that carried out, a suspension be carried out, not a revocation in this instance, which is what I'm asking the committee to do. Mr. Kapoor has a lot of defense that he would like to put forward to, or he would like to answer to what the allegations came up and why. For Mr. Kapoor to dispute at this very moment would be an argument that would carry on. That's what my view is. Like you're saying that you were in possession. Yes, you were in possession, but for him to say that, yes, I was in possession, but I wasn't selling it. I had kept it away from the shop. I had kept it away from the general public. But the Licensing Act says, yes, you were in possession. That's the, if you were to make your decision today, you would say, yes, but you were in possession. His view would be to say, well, I was in possession, but I kept it away from the general public. I didn't want the general public to have any safety for the general public is part of the Licensing Act. So I kept it away and I said it's not for sale, clearly. Yes, again, when you're coming down to these food safety, there is a certificate here which says the food was correct. I just left it aside, sorry ma'am, that the salami product was satisfactory. So we can't say everything that you heard today is totally under the ground and saying, oh, Mr. Kapoor is totally aware. He is not totally adhering to any of the Licensing Act. That is what my view is today to you. You will hear a lot from the responsible authorities today because, yes, they are there to say to you that we want a revocation. We don't want Mr. Kapoor to trade. We are saying we want Mr. Kapoor to trade. There is a way Mr. Kapoor can go forward. There is a chance in the Licensing Act 182 guidance will give him a chance to go forward by taking those steps. We are asking you that we will be taking those steps and making sure that we are promoting the 4 licensing objectives robustly. You'll hear a lot while I finish my questions and answers from the responsible authorities. So, ma'am, I'm going to ask Mr. Kapoor if he has anything to say before, and that is my closing remarks today to you.
Yes, on 13th of April, which is 2025, when the police officer come, and I was not here, which is my nephew marriage. My nephew got married, which is, we already provide the paperwork, which is the card, invitation card also, I mentioned it. Have you just given it?
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah. And I'm not there for 5 days. So somebody called me, stuff, this happened. So I just come to 14th of April, which is Monday, I think 14th of April, yeah. So when I come there, so around 3 o'clock, the 3 gypsy guys come in, they says, I want my refund. I say, what happened? He says, your stuff or somebody sold it canister to my, 17 years old. I say, I don't know. We call the police as well. And the police, on that time, they says, between you and customer, I can't come. So, the customer, which is somebody asks for refund, they wait for 5-10 minutes. And they are 3 people. And they say, I can't wait. You give me my refund, otherwise I'm going to smash you all shop. And you got the CCTV, already police got the CCTV, you can see the CCTV as well. That's why I give refund, which is the same happen we got before as well. So this is the refund which is I give. And the same happened, that was this refund, that's why I give, because I don't want anything happen to my shop. So this is only 500. Yeah. That's one invoice, 2022, August 2024. And the 2 drunk people come in, they always, they asking for the alcohol can you give me? And they are fully drunk and I didn't serve. So they go outside and they broke the big glass, which is going to be cost me 3,200 pounds, which is...
Sorry, who broke the glass?
They broke the big glass, they says, can you give...
Who did that?
That's, customer, which is I refuse to give the alcohol, which is they already fully drunk. So I didn't serve them. So they go outside, they broke my glass, that's a receipt on that day. So I already provided. So I'm scared on that time. That's why I give to customer 520 pounds and 530 pounds. And I told him, take my number, what happened? You can come and see me. Who is serve you? And he's blocked my number. And after that, he didn't say. And he's promised, I'm gonna come in. And I call police as well. The police come on that days. When we call on the same time they didn't come. They come around between 4:30. 2 police officers come. And I give my statement, this has happened. And this is the problem. He says, okay, they take the statement and they didn't anything. So this is my statement. So please, can you... And also I have parents, there's already depended on me. My dad is over 80, 85, and my mom also.
Okay. Sorry, thank you. Sorry, Jerry, just stop. Sorry, ma'am, that's to apologize for the motion.
Okay. Members of the committee, do you have any further questions?
Yeah, I have a sorry, but twice you mentioned that Mr. Kapoor was very cooperative. Cooperative, not very cooperative, with the police and trading standards. So are you disputing the reports on page 28 and 29 that he wouldn't provide names, he wouldn't provide the password for the CCTV? So I'm just confused there about how that is cooperative.
Yeah, for the CCTV password, which is we never use the password when we got the shop. So we always checking on the phone, which is on that day. The police come and they took my phone as well. I just already explained the police. Can you give me my phone? I can show you the CCTV, everything we got in the phone, but I don't know the password, which is on the,
They were from the previous owners, they fitted the
Yeah.
CCTV. They have given the password, he written it down, but that paper has been lost. So I don't know the password, he didn't know the password to show it from the actual hard drive. We can only show him from his phone,
On
which
phone.
they already took.
they already took police my phones, and this, what are the things you asked?
You couldn't provide the name of the person that was working at the shop, or wouldn't provide the name?
Already provide, if I didn't provide how this is,
Name of the worker.
name of the worker, I already provide Mr. Narinder.
So on your supplementary evidence, your refund receipt is from Premier Wharf Stores, which is the name of your store. But on your refusals, age refusal slips, exchange stores. What are the exchange stores, please? Is that a different trading name? You have run 2 branches, 2 stores. Can you explain what they are, please? I don't understand. So on your evidence, on your receipt, the refund receipt is Premier Wharf Stores, the name of your store. Further down on your age refusal records, you've got an age refusal slip here from exchange stores. So is that a different business? Is that a different, I'm confused what the business is.
If it helps everybody, it's supplementary pages 27 to 33.
Thank you.
Card machine. This refund is from the card machine, and this is the till report. On the till report, it comes like this. When we refuse from the till, those receipts come out. But if we give the refund from the card machine, this actual business name come out.
But surely your till should reflect the name of the store you're in, rather than exchange stores.
Yeah, I don't know why it did that, but usually, because it's an age refusal slip. Yeah, those are the ones. Yeah, it doesn't say I don't know how, but it doesn't say. But if I give you the printout, like a receipt, proper receipt, when the customer buy, it does show the business name and the address and everything. But it's the age refusal slip, that's why I didn't show the business
I
name.
think this, Mr. Rob already checked these ones.
Okay, this is the business name, it
Business
only
name.
here.
Yes, should be there. Page.
So yes, a further question. So, as I say, I'm a licensee, I run a pub myself, I've run it for 30 years. When I've had test purchases beforehand from Paula and Rab, they've come into me first of all, and we failed one before in the past. We've had to show our processes first of all, we've had to explain what we've done, show our till statements and show, as you have, details for it. But in the evidence on your statements from when you've failed test purchases, it doesn't mention then at all that you've cooperated in any way at all, you've shown this. I know these are dated recently, but at the time, are these systems in place now, or were they at the time? So I'm confused with what your processes were at the time of failing the processes.
Systems are in place since the shop is started in 2022 when Mr. Kapoor took over. The system is in place. Otherwise, we wouldn't get so many receipts.
So do you know the password to your new CCTV system?
Yes, we have written it down on our
We written it
phones
down and
at
we just showed
shop.
to Mr. Rob as well, and he's checked as well, and
We
everything's
just
well.
written it down on the hardware there, the CCTV hardware, we written it down over there. So anyone can come and they can have a look at it.
One more further question, sorry. So in the reports from Trading Standards, it mentions a lot of their concerns regarding health and safety for toys, sunglasses, out-of-date food, tobacco, vapes. It's a whole catalogue of errors, first of all, which indicates a lack of confidence in the store. What have you done since then to rectify all the issues regarding, say, the toys, the knives, the sunglasses? In your shop now, could I go in there now and buy a Stanley knife? Could I go in there and buy a toy without safe labels on it, first of all? Are all your products now in date? What have you done since this report, please, to rectify the behaviours?
अभी क्या किया? What did you do?
जो इसने सारा हेल्थ सेफ्टी वाले ने किया खिलौने ते आउट ऑफ डेट फूड व्हाट डिड यू डू बताइए नहीं
Yeah, all off of them I bin it. So anything's, you know, if some of them got like date on it, we still keep it like 1 month or 28 days or 7 days or anything is expired. We already bin it. So the toys, you know, we checking anything's, you know, we off of them we removed it. So anything they mention it, we always following the rule. So I don't know. And the knife, which is they calling knife, which is that's a cutter, which is cutter, you know,
the sliding down cutter that
so
kids
this
use.
is only used to be on the floor, but we removed it when we got the letter, and this, you know, we removed it from the same day. And we, anytime, you know, somebody buying as well, we first checking is over 18, and we ask the question, what are you using for? Then we serve, and that's it.
There was a food business operator, Premier Local, Surrey Heath, Environmental Health and Licensing, visit on 28th of November 2023, slices of salami, and the report was satisfactory.
Which page is that in the supplementary?
I don't know, it is part of the supplementary information that we've sent you.
I'm asking which page.
You want this page?
It's not on there. No, I want the page in the bundle. I don't want that page.
It's okay, just read it, then give back, no problem. It's okay.
Sorry, it's got the permission of the chair.
That wasn't submitted to me in the supplementary pack. So if you want that to be considered, I'll need that to be reviewed by all parties and accepted. So do you want me to offer that?
Yeah, you can offer that.
Right. Yes.
Chair, this is a brand new document, obviously, to the agenda. It is a Surrey Heath Borough Council Environmental Health and Licensing letter, it would appear. But it's not been something that we at Surrey Police have ever seen before this moment. It is something I suspect that Ms Macbeth will be able to ask sensible questions about because she's a trading standards officer. But because it's a brand new document, it has the more than a whiff of ambush about it.
So, what I'm proposing is that the evidence that would like to be submitted by the applicant is reviewed by all parties, and if all parties are willing for it to be accepted, then it will be. But we'll need that to be. So, are you?
Well, that's much quicker. No, it's an ambush. We're not ready with this. We don't know what it is.
Can I? My comment would be that this is not relevant to a licence review hearing. It's to do with food sampling.
Okay, so it's a different department that we're dealing with in that letter.
It's to do with a food sample that has been taken of pre-packed food. So it's not something within the control.
Okay, can the committee
the
have a look at the
DPS?
letter, please, and then we'll decide.
Ma'am, but we did get the...
We have objected to this item being looked at.
Okay, I've spoken to legal about this. It's not relevant to this hearing at all, and it's dated back in 2023, and it's by a different department, therefore nothing to do with the licensing subcommittee. So it will not be accepted into
Ma'am,
evidence.
we brought it to you because we did hear from the trading standards regarding the... Sorry, we brought this letter to you now. It was in front of me because you do hear that when the trading standards were presenting their report.
It should have been presented at the time, so therefore we're agreeing now that it's not going to be accepted into evidence now. And that's my final word on it. That's my final word on it.
I'm agreeing to that. I'm not saying much about it, but I'm saying when you're talking about the food department, I'm talking about the food department without presenting this document. I'm telling you, there was a visit on November 2023, and
You've commented on it and everybody's heard it, and we know what the letter's about, but it's not relevant to this hearing.
Ma'am, if it's not relevant, then there is a presentation made earlier by the trading standards regarding the food expiry date. So would you be saying that that would not be relevant to this hearing?
I don't think that particular item of food was referenced. It was other items.
This is, in effect, bringing in the evidence, but by the looks of it, Environmental Health have been asked to do sampling for microbiological on imported food. It's not a trading standards or food standards matter. It is not to do with use-by dates. It is not to do with best before.
Therefore, it's not to do with licensing, and it will not be accepted into this hearing, and that is finished now. Mark, you had another question.
So you mentioned, or you suggested another DPS taking over. If that were to happen, what involvement will Mr. Kapoor have, and what training will the new DPS have? Would they be a day-to-day manager? What would their responsibilities be? How would you ensure this wouldn't happen again, please?
Under the Licensing Act Guidance 182 and the Licensing Act 2003, a DPS is a person who has a day-to-day running of the premises, and the DPS has the entire matter for the shop. So it will be the DPS's consent to say what goods are to be sold and what goods are not to be sold. So if the new DPS came in, he would have the full control of the purchase and sales and training of the department. There is a DPS level 3 course, which is above the APLH level 2, which is presently. So that DPS, it will be conditioned on the license. We are happy to put the condition on the license to say that any incoming new DPS will have a DPS level 3 course. We run the DPS level 3 course at our premises, and that is very strenuous. It is not very easy to pass through also, but it has everything: the labor laws, all other laws pertaining to the trade. The trading laws do come into that training, while the APLH level 2 does not have so extensive training required by the DPS.
So, on that question, first of all, what responsibility will Mr. Kapoor maintain going forward? So you have a new DPS in place who's done a level 3. I know the course, I've done the course myself, it's a great course, it's one, I accept that course. But you have mentioned putting Mr. Kapoor, who has a gap in his knowledge, on a similar course. So surely, as the owner of the shop, it would be quite hard for DPS to come in and to tell the owner what to do or not to do. So what advice have you given Mr. Kapoor regarding his training? Because obviously he will still be there on a day-to-day basis. So that's my question.
We have presently advised Mr. Kapoor that he should go and undergo the DPS level 3 course. We have advised that. Now it is up to Mr. Kapoor to take it over, or what decision we get today from the committee.
So, excuse my ignorance on this, but when you take over a premises, you become the licence holder. Would you not make sure that you had all that training in place and the level 3 DPS course? Would you not, as an owner of a business wanting to do your best for that business, make sure that all those licensing conditions and training was in place already, not 3 years later?
Ma'am, the DPS level 3 is normally advised by the responsible authority as the police. It isn't compulsory. APLH level 2 is the compulsory matter for any DPS to become the DPS of the premises. That is requirement of the Licensing Act 2003. So DPS is not compulsory. It is something that if the DPS is failing in his part, the responsible authorities such as the police or the trading standards can recommend that the DPS should undergo a DPS level 3 course. We do run the DPS level 3 course on so many occasions where the responsible authorities require the DPS to undergo, and it is conditioned. It is in a lot of licenses, the subcommittees condition that to say any incoming DPS must undergo a DPS level 3 course before he is appointed. And this is what we are requesting today for any new DPS at this premises to undergo the level 3 course.
Okay, thank you. Any more questions from the committee?
Yeah, I just have a quick question on that. You're suggesting that would be made a condition of the licence, but Mr. Kapoor has clearly shown that he doesn't comply with the conditions of the licence that are already there. So, how could you give us comfort that he would that any further conditions would be respected?
We will be taking that responsibility today because we are in front of the committee here today with you. And if it is conditioned, we will be advising Mr. Kapoor to make sure that condition is complied with, because it is our duty today here that we are representing in front of the committee, and to make sure Mr. Kapoor complies with it. If Mr. Kapoor is not willing to comply with it, we will write down to the council to say we are no longer representing Mr. Kapoor, and Mr. Kapoor's behaviour is not understood to what we are. And the responsible authorities will have to look at any condition laid out onto any license under section 135 could be a criminal offence. So if it was conditioned, and if Mr. Kapoor did not comply with that condition under section 135, he would have a criminal record. And I'm sure the legal person would say to you that they could prosecute Mr. Kapoor for that not compliance.
Last one, I think.
So, last question. Regarding before, Mr. Kapoor, you mentioned that your staff had failed the test purchase numerous times when you weren't there, and unbeknown to you, they'd let you down, they'd served underage people, and you got rid of the team there. But that's quite a lot of stats. 4 staff so far you mentioned that you got rid of for failing to adhere to your training. Before, Mr. Carney mentioned that the training when you found there was inadequate. He's given you training to suggest there to educate your staff further. What training is now in place for your current team and future team to make sure you're protected, the DPS is protected, and the community is protected so far from these repeat occurrences? What training is in place now, please?
We're proposing the committee to condition, an extra condition of the license to say any staff employed now will undergo the BII-AB level 1 course. And that level 1 course is run by us. So Mr. Kapoor will have to send the staff to us. We will train the staff. We are a training firm for the last 25 years. We'll train the staff, and we train in 5 different languages. So whoever staff comes up, we will understand the language that his first language is, and English is his second language. The course is in English. So we will be complying with that. So we've advised Mr. Kapoor that any staff employed now will have to go BII-AB level 1 course.
Okay, before I ask for your summing up, and having heard the applicant's statement, are there any further matters the responsible authority and interested parties wish to bring to the subcommittee's attention?
We do have some questions for the licence holder. Chair, yes. I think I heard you say just now that Mr. Chandran still works at the store. Is that right?
Mr. Chandra kar raha hai. Abhi.
That's Ravi Chandran.
Ravi Chandra.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So how true is it when you said earlier that every employee who has failed a test purchase has been let go by you? You've sacked them. Because he's the man who failed the knife to child test purchase in November 2023.
The Ravi Chandra, he's come before and he's worked before and he's not working for so long and he's come again. That one's, I think, 8-9 months ago, which is he's not working for 9 months. And when he's come, I give proper training. And after that, which is we got well done letter 5 times. And that's it on his shift, which is the police officer, Mr. Rob also knows. They give well done letter, which is always, they accept it and they give the letter. So that's why.
So if I've understood it right, when you said earlier that when an employee has failed a test purchase despite your training, you've let them go, what you mean is you've let them go away for a few months and then you've welcomed them back.
No, on that time he's not working because that's his punishment one time, so I don't have any stuff. So he's coming after 5-6 months or maybe 9 months. So, just 1 minute because my English is not very good.
इसने किया तो नारायण नाम ले लेता ना तो ये कहना कि ओ या नारायण है जड़ा के जिसने की चीज़ा वेचियन या ये रविचंद्रन तो होना
Ravichandra is different person. He's start on after this happened. So I think she's checked the already documents as well. Ravichandra is different person.
the person that works before his name was Narayan.
He's Ravichandra, so he's already.
The person works now is Ravi Chandran.
And Mr. Rob already checked the paperwork and they already.
I'll move on. If you've let go every employee of the Wharf Road stores that's failed a test purchase, how does that work when it was you that failed the test purchase, when it was alcohol sale to a child? Did you sack yourself, is what I'm asking, given that you're still the DPS?
Just 1 minute.
इसने किया कि तुसी कहंदे हो कि जो बंदे तेरे को कम कर देन तू उन्हां नो कढ लेना जो गलती कर देन तो तू जो गलती कीती तू आपनो भी कढ लेता.
I done, mistake, which is on the first time, which is 2022. I don't know the exact date, which is the police officer come. They send the, the underage, which is, they got the cider, and this is zero alcohol, which is nothing on it, and is still, this here again.
कहंदा you didn't understand. He's saying कि तू जो बंदे नो कढ लेना जेड़े के गलती कर देन तू उन्हां नो कढ लेना. Your employees here who works for you. Did you sack yourself? तू आपनो क्यों ना कढे?
आपनो कैंच कढा क्या?
Yeah, ताई ये कहना कि मैं आपनो ना कढा मैं आपनो सुधारिया.
Because कैंच क्या हुआ सुधारना?
What he wants to say is that he improved himself after he caught the first time, and then he mentioned the staff again and again not to do that. Ask for IDs when you think they are underage. So when they didn't understand, he sacks them and get a new staff. He can't sack himself out because he owns the business. It will be loss of money what he has put into business.
So if I understood this right, we now do all agree that you didn't sack every employee who failed a test purchase.
We did. Ravi Chandran works now. It was Narain, not Narendra Ravi Chandran. His name was Narain. He was a different person.
This person, is working now. He's working on before owner as well. So that man is working at the moment.
So we all agree you failed a test purchase to a child. You continued to be the designated premises supervisor. When each of these failed test purchases happened, you were the designated premises supervisor, weren't you?
Yes, he was.
Yeah. Good. How much supervision was going on if all these failed test purchases kept happening?
It happened with all the different staff, not one single staff. It doesn't happen with same staff every time. It was a different staff every time. And we train them, but it still happened. It's a human error. We can't do like...
Your representative has just said if there was to be a new designated premises supervisor, then that person would have day-to-day responsibility of running the shop. You remember him saying that about 8 minutes ago. Given that you're currently the person who is the DPS and currently have day-to-day responsibility for running the shop, How can you, with a straight face, supervise others when you failed to test purchase yourself?
Yeah, when he failed the test purchase, he is explaining to you that at that particular instance, the cider that was caught selling underage was 0%. Am I right in saying?
Right, so you're now saying that the cider for the alcohol sale to a child that you failed, you're saying now, and for the first time, that it was 0%, are you?
वो जब पहले उन्होंने लिया ना, वो 5 चीज़ों के साथ 0 अल्कोहल टेबल पे रखी तो 0 हम अलाउड हैं किसी को भी दे सकते हैं वो जो है ना वो बच्चा नहीं था 0% जो है ना कोई भी पी सकता है बोलो वो सॉरी आप बोलो मतलब
Yes, he did fail, but he said that at that particular instance, the alcohol that was brought on the table, ma'am, was 0% cider.
अगर उनको फोटो चाहिए मैं भी मंगवा सकता हूँ
Right, is there anything else that you want to bring to the committee's attention?
Chair, yes. You've said repeatedly that there were 5 or 6 test purchase passes, as you referred to them. I can see the 4 at pages 23 to 26 in the supplementary evidence. Where are the other 2?
He's got it at the shop. He hasn't submitted those, but he has got them.
Important enough to refer to them, but not important enough to put them in the supplementary evidence. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that what they gave it to us, we supplied it to the supplementary information, but he still has got 2.
उनके पास भी वो लोग टेस्ट कर गए हैं वो भी मेरे पास वीडियो भी है अगर उनको चाहिए
He's also got the video when his test purchases was passed. He's also got a video evidence of a test purchase that he passed.
So you've got video that you could have shared of passing test purchases, but none of all the repeated sales of a Class C drug.
Yeah.
You got all the CCTV, you know, which is you got it. The police got it already, and
You understand we can't get into it without the password that you have repeatedly not given to us, don't you?
which is the password. I don't know how can I give it to you. The new password in it.
Yeah.
The new password we got it. After that, I'm checking anytime. You can welcome anytime if you want from any day. I can give you now before we checking in the phone. Now
Yeah,
we
but
can check in.
unfortunately, we're looking at incidents before your new CCTV, so it would have been beneficial to yourself and to us if you'd had been able to find the password for that.
Ma'am, his phone, which had the password, was taken away.
The phone.
The phone that
Phone,
had
yes.
the phone that had the password was taken away from him.
Yeah, my phone already take the police, which is when is
Police
that
had
happen?
confiscated the phone.
They have the DVR as well.
DVR and my phone, they take on 13th of April.
No,
when,
17th.
17th of
Okay.
April. Yeah. Yeah.
You said that it was you that called the police when these unlawful sales of nitrous oxide were being made. In fact, it was the father of the child who called the police, wasn't it? There's no record on the police system of you calling them, but there is a record of the father of the child calling the police. That's the truth, isn't it?
The father of child, they call police, and I just spoke with the police as well. They says between you and him, you have to give them refund. Otherwise, you know, I'm not free to come for only for this thing because there is between customer and this.
Sorry, you're telling the subcommittee that you told the police you were selling Class C drugs.
We didn't
and there
sold
was a
it.
dispute about the sale, and they said, oh no, that's a civil matter. Is that what you're really saying?
I didn't sold it. Somebody come in and they ask me, you can give me refund. How can I give the refund? Which is, I don't know that happen. They says, if you don't give me the refund, I'm gonna smash you all shop. And that's why I give them refund, 530 pounds. I told him, take my number, you come tomorrow, I need to find out what is the exact problem. So that's why I give the refund.
It's not true that you provided the police with the name of the
If it's
person who
not
was
true,
working
you
that day,
can
is
got
it?
the CCTV, which is you got already, you know, the DVR. You can check it. If I'm wrong, I'm gonna be, says, okay, do what.
It's not true that you provided the police with the name of the person who was working when all that Class C drug was being sold, is it? That's why your wife had to be called, and that's why your accountant had to be called, and that's why the CCTV hard drive had to be seized. Because you wouldn't give the name. That's the truth, isn't it?
At that very instance, तो तुमने नाम नहीं दिया था ना?
नाम दिया था
नहीं
इनको
दिता ही ना
कैसा ना कहना
जिसने के बेची है
उसका नाम बस
उसका
देता
नाम
है
तू न देता है
Not that. That's true. Okay.
Now I'm
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay, do we have any more questions?
Ma'am, are we having court examination, or are we having questions? What we see, are we having a court examination, or are we having questions asked to us? We feel that we are examined, which is not in this place. Your legal will say that. It's the questions we are asking. We're not examined. We're not being examined.
Both parties have been given the opportunity to ask questions. Yes, unless you feel there's anything specifically inappropriate about the question, but both parties are entitled to ask the questions. But the chair is keen to draw it to an end soon. But council's confirmed that only a couple more questions. Are you content?
If we accept for the purpose of this question that you had no idea that Class C drugs were being sold in your shop, how do you tell the subcommittee that your level of supervision was sufficient?
Ma'am, the Class C drugs that we're talking about, Mr. Harman Singh never stopped it. So that's why he was worried that where did the staff get it, because at that very instance he was not in the shop. He was at the wedding that he went, and that's where the staff sold its stuff.
पुलिस आए थे ढूंढ लेकिन उनको मिला कुछ भी नहीं
Nothing was in the shop.
nothing.
There was nothing in the shop. But how the staff got it and sold it, that was the question Mr. Harman Singh questioned to the staff.
He is responsible for his staff. He
He
is
is
responsible
responsible.
for what his staff sell. It's his shop. He supplies that shop. Therefore, they are under his supervision and his authority.
That's the question Mr. Harman Singh had put to his staff, that where did you get this from? And you sold it. So that's why he wanted you also look at the CCTV.
और पता नहीं कि वो यही चीज़ थी या
That's what
वो
his answer is.
वो यही चीज़ थी या नहीं थी या हो सकता है वो बंदा रिफंड वो ले गया हो कैश बैग ले गया हो तो ये बोल दो
That is, sorry.
Right. One more question, Mr. Elton.
If the refusals logs at pages 5 to 14 are genuine, why is the handwriting the same for various people who have different signatures?
Sorry, ma'am. It is the staff carried out, so it's not done by one person, a different person.
जो कोई शिफ्ट पे होता था वही चेक करेंगे
Thank you, Chair.
So the question that was asked is, could you...
Sorry, just to clarify from the understanding, the question that was asked was the signatures appear to be for different people, but the handwriting is the same. Was that correct? Can I just confirm, was that the correct question?
Yeah, but the question asked, and we are answering that it's done by different people. Although some places they've written down.
Not all same hand.
there's all no same see there this is mine you can see on 15 I put my name anyone's on the shift they can hear on the same time anyone's come and they put his name or if it's 10 times one person that means the handwriting is same that means it's same person he didn't put different name he put the same name you can check.
Okay, we'll leave that one there then. Right. At this point in the proceedings, I will ask the licence holder...
Sorry, Madam Chair, sorry, Madam Chair, I've got a couple of quick questions, and they will be quick. Can I just ask, how many people are employed to actually work in the shop? One and yourself? So who works in there? You and one other?
One other,
So 2 people.
2 people.
At the time the nitrous oxide was sold, how many people were working in the shop?
Which is, if I'm not there, it's 2 people. One in the morning shift
Yep.
and one in evening shift.
So, not counting you, you had 2 members of staff
Yes, when I'm not there.
when you're not there. So, when you went away for the wedding, who did you leave in charge?
In charge, Mr. Ravinder Singh. Which
Mr.
is, I
Rav-
already give the name, Ravinder.
Ravinder Singh.
Yeah.
And how long had you known Mr. Ravinder Singh?
We only knows which is he's got experience, so he says I'm gonna be run out the business.
How long have you known him?
I just know him for maybe 1 month, which is somebody recommended he's working on my shop.
Okay, so somebody recommended that he could work.
Yeah.
And you just took somebody that you knew word for this gentleman? For Did you not think about maybe closing the shop while you went to the wedding, rather than leaving somebody you didn't know in charge?
Actually, I don't know. If I know that gonna be happen, so I don't wanna attend the marriage. So this is the main thing. Which is already, this is my punishment means, which is I leave my shop, is my responsibility. I agree, everything. But I give to the staff and the staff done this, and that's why we sitting and discuss this.
So have you seen Ravi Singh since?
No.
But you paid Ravi Singh in cash?
No, we give cash with that, yes. 4 days he's working, I give cash, but he's left his money as well. So when is the happen, so he's not come. He's worked 6 days, he's got for 2 days, and 4 days is still his money is still left in the shop.
I've got no other questions.
Okay, moving on. As I started to say, at this point in the proceedings, I will ask the licence holder, the review applicant and any interested parties who wish to sum up their cases. I would ask that you do not introduce any new information or evidence at this stage. So I invite the licence holder to speak first.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, we have provided to you all the evidence, cooperated fully with this committee to see what had happened at the shop. Ma'am, we are promoting the 4 licensing objectives. We are proposing to the committee today that a shorter suspension for what has happened at the premises, and we're looking forward to changing the DPS would be a condition on the license that the DPS would undergo a designated premises level 3 course. All staff employed at the premises will undergo a BIIAB level 1 course. That's what our proposal is to the committee, ma'am.
Sorry, please.
There was either no supervision going on or a woefully low level of supervision going on for all these things to happen all these times, or it was actively part of the business model. Either way, it's not just failing to promote the licensing objectives, these incidents each actively undermined the licensing objectives. The licence holder has then lied to you about what happened and when it happened and what he did and what others did. And you cannot have faith in a DPS that is just prepared to lie to try to get his way out of trouble. The after the event production of refusals books and training records doesn't alter what happened on those repeated occasions. And you heard that the grand statement of employee failed test purchase, I let them go, became for a few months, and then they were welcomed back. And every time there was a search, unlawful items were found. How can that possibly be promoting the prevention of crime? And indeed, the successful test purchases, when there wasn't a test purchase of a prohibited item to a child, that should be the norm, not something you trumpet from the rooftops as a get-out-of-jail-free card. And the fact that there's been such reliance on the 4 and the 2 we're told were equally important but weren't part of the evidence supplied shows, frankly, how scarce the good points are that the licence holder has got to offer you, because that should be every test purchase. Of course, occasionally mistakes are made, but it should be every test purchase resulting in a letter from the gentleman to my left, not some of the times. And when it comes to the honesty of the licence holder, you've got, and it's not new evidence, you've got page 39 in your agenda, the original agenda pack, is the statement from the father. And far from it being, how on earth could the canisters have got into my shop while I was away for 4 days, what he told the father was, I told him what had happened, the father says, and that my son had bought NOS canisters from the shop and I wanted a refund. The DPS said, Mr. Kapoor, he said that the canisters cost him money. How can that be right? How could they cost him money if he had nothing to do with them and had no idea they would be sold in his shop? It's because it's not true. And given the deep-seated nature of the issues, sales of knives to children, sale of alcohol to children, sales of prohibited drugs to children, possession of a Class B prohibited drug with intent to supply it, all the counterfeit cigarettes, all of the illegal tobacco products, given the obfuscation that you've received when each of these things has been put to the licence holder, it's a respectful suggestion of the Surrey Police that the only way that you can promote the 4 licensing objectives is to revoke this licence, and no conditions and no suspension could begin to be adequate, given the history and given the nature of the people involved. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms Macbeth, do you have anything to say?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have the seizure of illicit tobacco in June 2023. That was disposed of by way of a warning letter to the premises licence holder. That was his first chance. When we then consider April 2025, we hear that he left somebody in charge of the premises, if what we are being told is true, that he didn't really know. And this person suddenly started selling nitrous oxide to a 17-year-old child, when there was a history of the premises having nitrous oxide on the licensed premises. Yes, these items were not behind the sales counter, they were on the licensed premises when we did the seizure in June 2023, and the 2 bottles of e-liquids were behind the counter. They were on open display. We're still no further forward to actually work out what is happening at these premises, but it is quite clear they have been given opportunities to improve, to engage with us, and they have failed to do so. In all the circumstances, Trading Standards fully support the application of Surrey Police and are seeking revocation of the premises licence.
Thank you. Okay, thank you for everybody's contribution. The committee will now leave the room to deliberate, but I would ask that you all remain in the room, as we may need to call you back if there is any point or further clarification which we require. The committee will leave the room with the clerk and the legal advisor in order for the decision to be recorded and for clarification on legal reasons. Does anybody have any objections to the legal advisor leaving with the committee?
No objection.
No. Okay, we'll now go and deliberate.
Thank you very much, everyone. We just want to clarify that we'll also be inviting Diane Murphy, who is the incoming legal advisor for the council, to come in and to shadow the discussions. She'll not be taking part in them. She'll just be shadowing the discussions so that she can fulfil the duties when she takes on the role at the council going forward. Is everyone accepting of that?
No comment to make at all.
I've got a comment to make, not to say that we're not accepting, we're accepting that. Would it be possible for us to have the decision in 5 working days, which is another option that you would like to take, so that you could relax and have your decision made, rather than us waiting?
No, we're content for you to wait. In terms of the written decision, that will come within 5 working days, but the decision itself will be made this afternoon. If there's any issues that come up, we will let you know in advance, just in case, but the plan is to make the determination.
Okay, right.
Right, good evening, everybody. Okay. The subcommittee has decided to revoke the premises licence for Premier Frimley Local, 2 to 4 Wharf Road, Frimley Green, Camberley, under section 52, brackets 4 of the Licensing Act 2003. The decision is necessary and proportionate to promote the licensing objectives and protect the public from harm. The reason for the decision is the committee found serious and repeated breaches of all 4 licensing objectives. Crime and disorder. The premises was involved in criminal activity, including the sale of controlled substances and illegal goods. The licence holder obstructed enforcement and breached licence conditions, including CCTV access. Public safety. Unsafe and non-compliant goods were sold despite repeated warnings. Public nuisance. The premises contributed to the antisocial behaviour and community concern, particularly due to the proximity of a youth centre. Protection of children. Alcohol, tobacco, nitrous oxide and knives were sold to minors on multiple occasions. Age verification procedures were inadequate. The committee considered lesser steps, but concluded that revocation is the only appropriate and proportionate response. Premises licence holder is entitled to appeal this decision to the Magistrates' Court. 1, the licence holder has 21 days from the date of notification to the decision of the appeal to the Magistrates' Court. 2, if an appeal is lodged within that period, the revocation is suspended until the appeal is resolved. And 3, if no appeal is made within 21 days, the revocation takes effect at the end of that period. This process ensures procedural fairness and gives the licence holder an opportunity to challenge the decision before it is enforced. You will receive a written decision within 5 days. That's the end of the statement. Thank you.